13. Dear ladies and gentlemen, a warm welcome from cold St. Petersburg to everyone who is joining us today. I am highly thrilled to see you here from, again, various locations. We have Nastya from Yakutsk, we have Olga from South Africa, we have Evaluator from St. Petersburg, which makes it a very, very colorful event today. And without further ado, I would love to have the 125th Toastmasters meeting declared as open. If you have any questions, please save them for after the meeting so we can kick it out and start with our exciting speakers for today. Herewith, I would hand over to our freshest agenda change and hand over to the joke master of the day, who will begin with the agenda.
Thank you very much, President Walter, fellow Toastmasters. It's a pleasure to be with you today. One of the things I like most about St. Petersburg, being able to run early in the morning, is seeing ducks. I think everybody likes ducks. So today I have some ducky jokes for you. A priest, a nun, a rabbi, and a duck walk into a bar. The waiter looks up and says, "What is this, a joke?" Another duck walks into a bar and he asks for a shot of tequila. The bartender asks him, "Would you like me to put it on the tab?" The duck says, "No, put it on my bill." A third duck waddles towards the edge of a road, and clearly he's thinking about crossing the road. A chicken sees this, and he quickly runs over to the duck, and he says, "Don't even think about it. If you do it, you'll never stop hearing about it." Fourth joke. Why was the duck arrested? Because he was suspected of foul play. And finally, what type of TV shows do ducks most like to watch? Documentaries. Mr. President, I'm going to add a little PDF here with some explanation for this, because some of the words might, the context might not be understood by everybody. Then you'll understand. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Joke Master of
Great
the day,
job.
dear Randall. And yeah, so it appears me being a duck as well as a lover of documentaries. So fantastic, but I think I'm not the only one here. We love that, and we move on with that to our handover, and the handover is going to be to Olga for today. She is going to guide us throughout our session for today. Please give a warm applause to welcome Olga Guseva. Olga Guseva, Toastmaster of the day.
Great, thank you very much for that great introduction, Walter. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It is my privilege to be your Toastmaster of the day for this event. And for any guests in the house, the Toastmaster of the day is effectively just the master of ceremonies. So my job today will be to guide us all through the agenda, to hand over to role players, and to just make sure the meeting runs smoothly and on time. Another part of the Toastmaster of the Day role is for me to provide a theme of the day. And as you might have seen on the agenda, today's theme of the day is your library. Now, when we think of a library, we obviously think of books. And books are amazing things for so many reasons. One reason is that they let us meet people we might never actually meet. People that are far away, people who speak different languages or write in different languages and are of different cultures, or even people that are already long dead. The second reason why books are amazing is that they transport us into different cities, different countries, different planets, or into even non-existent places, and this helps us expand our imagination. Books also help us grow. Through books, we learn new skills, and we can become better versions of ourselves. But if none of these points really appeal to you, there's also a fourth great reason why books are fantastic, and that's that they make a really handy weapon in a time of need. Ever try to throw a book at someone? Yeah, it really works to prove a point. In light of this theme, I have asked all our role players to tell me what their absolute favorite book is. And I'll be reading out some of these responses throughout the meeting. But for those of you who weren't role players for today or just didn't get a chance to respond, I'd like to ask you to please post your favorite book and the author in the chat box so that we can all see them and poach some reading suggestions. All right, I'll kick us off with one of my favorite books of all time, and it's The Art of Possibility by Rosamund Stone Zander and Benjamin Zander, and it's just a great read for anyone. I'll post it in the chat box as well. With that, let us get on with our agenda. Now, aside from the Toastmaster of the day, there are a few people helping us make this event a success today. So as far as I'm aware, we have 2 more role players, namely the grammarian and the timekeeper. So I will ask first for our timekeeper of the day, Walter, to please explain his role to us. Walter, over to you.
Thank you very much, Olga. Thank you very much, dear Toastmaster of today, for introducing me while I'm trying to get my virtual background set up so that everyone can literally see when he is still in time or when he is not in time. You will see 3 flags. The first one being green, everything's on track with your timing. The second one is going to be the yellow one, and the third one is going to be red. Red means you are disqualified for participating, being the best speaker or best evaluator or best table topic speaker. Thank you very much. Without further ado, back to Olga.
All right, thank you very much, Walter. Another person helping us make today a success will be our grammarian. Is our grammarian in the house? Yelena Belaeva, is she in, or are we without a grammarian today?
Yes.
All right.
Unless, I don't know if Artyom can help out, but I don't know if he knows the rules and if he's well connected so that he can fill out the role.
Not today, but thank you for consideration.
We could hear that very clearly, though.
Good.
Okay.
All right.
Back to Olga, sorry.
So today we're just working with a very, very basic team of a Toastmaster and a timer, and we'll get a general evaluation from Michael Wader at the end of this meeting. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this takes us to our first speaker, Anna Soldatova, and she'll be delivering a project from the Innovative Planning Pathway, which will be researching and presenting. Now, this topic, so her task for this project will be to present an unfamiliar topic, organize the speech clearly to maximize audience understanding, craft clear and engaging transitions between main sections of the speech, use and cite resources to support the content of the speech, and then make this resource list available to us. So ladies and gentlemen, would you join me in welcoming Anna Soldatova to the stage with her speech, Home District and Its Neighborhoods? Home District and Its Neighborhoods, Anna Soldatova.
Hello, and thank you, Madam Toastmaster, for such a warm introduction. Dear fellows and guests, today I am going to deliver a well-organized and well-researched speech. 2 weeks ago, I was faced with a challenge to investigate the topics that I'm not already familiar with. And I started with Michael Wader's last speech advice, know your audience before you start to write your script. So what do I know about our club members? Most of them lives in Moskovsky district of St. Petersburg, so am I. And I used to joke that it was vitally important to choose Moskovsky district nearby Moskovska metro station on Moscow High Road in the process of relocation from Moscow to St. Petersburg. Frankly speaking, I have been living here for 2 years and still know nothing about it. Let's discover our home district together. Let me share my screen. Moskovsky district is located on the south of the city between Frunzensky and Kirovsky districts. It is also known as Southern St. Petersburg Gates. Mainly guests come to the city through Moscow Toll Road or airport and come across its neighborhoods right away. It covers an area of 7,035 hectares where live more than 300,000 of people. Impressive, isn't it? Let's travel down memory lane and cover the history of this district. In 18th century, this territory was like an elegant suburb along the road to the imperial residence, Tsarskoye Selo. Tsarsko-Selsky Tract, it is the name of the road, arose on the Sinai Square, where was so-called the nearest Rogatka, like an automatic barrier gate. It was a kind of customs checkpoint at the gateway to the city. The middle Rogatka was where Moscow Triumphal gates are located now, and so-called faraway Rogatka was near the location of modern airport. Mostly area was full of fields, forests, frogs, gardens, and merchant summer cottages. However, near the modern Victory Square was built the first travel place where members of Tsar's family could stay for the rest along the way to Tsarskoye Selo or Moscow, and you can see it on the slide. Then this wooden building was demolished, and in 1774 was built the next one, travel place, with the frog on its emblem, and its name is Chasminsky, and we can still visit it today. Both economic booms in the district is associated with the rule of Nikolai II and the period before the First World War. It took only 20 years to become the modern industry center, as technological progress brought here electric, engineering, transport, aircraft factories. In Soviet era, in 1919, for the first time, Moskovsky district appeared on the maps of Petrograd. The government of Bolsheviks gave the birth of the district as an administrative unit, as well as included it to the city development plans. And here is the beginning. Moreover, it was decided to create a new center of socialist Leningrad in this part of the city, and we'll discuss it a little bit later. One more milestone of the district's history is the Second World War, as its area has become a frontal zone. Unfortunately, bloody battles over and over took place here. Finally, after lone hope termination of the war in 1936, was opened Park Pobedy as a symbol of the victory and all the sacrifices of Sage Leningrad. Now let me give a tour around the neighborhoods. Here you can see the list of the most impressive seasides located in the district. I'll cover several of them and share the presentation after the meeting. Moscow Triumphal Gates was built in 1838 in honor for the victorious end of the Russian-Turkish War. Its height is 24 meters and width is 36. Interesting, in 1936, the gates were taken apart to be relocated in the new city center on the north. Nevertheless, the ambitious plan was never realized, and after more than 20 years, the gates were placed back. Park Pobedy was founded where in the beginning of 20th century was located brickyard, and during the Second World War, this sadly famous yard accidentally turned to crematory. Today, it is a beautiful park with picturesque ponds and benches. Pulkovskaya Observatory is one of the first Russian observatory. It is almost 200 years old. Pulkovsky Meridian crosses the center of the observatory building, and until 20th century, Russians used it like a prime meridian instead of Greenwich, navigated and drew maps with its help. Now, let's return to enthusiastic plan for removal of the social economic center of the city to the Moskovsky. It should be the symphony of stone and marble, the outstanding example of Stalin's empire style. And here is example of architecture sketches and the harsh reality of Soviet denied dreams. In conclusion, I hope that I have managed to enrich your minds with intriguing facts about this famous St. Petersburg district. Maybe someday you would visit Moskovsky, starting with walk through Park Pobedy, visit its famous pie shop nearby, and recall my speech about this lovely and cozy place. Thank you so much.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Anna, for a very informative speech about your current home district, about the Moskovsky district. I think it gave us a really nice history and some interesting stories as well associated with it. So thank you for that. When asking for Anna's favorite book, she actually mentioned one that I've also read and I've loved. It's The Little Prince by Antoine de Saint-Exupéry. I think it's one that everyone must read. It's fantastic, and it's for absolutely all ages. So that was Anna's contribution to the library that we're putting together today. While Anna was speaking, we were actually joined by our grammarians, so Yelena Belyaeva. So I would like to ask her to please introduce her role for us just before we jump into the next speech. Please help me welcome Yelena to the stage.
Thank you. Sorry about delay because I had some troubles with connecting. So the role is about to find some small mistakes and maybe grammarian mistakes and some good phrases and so on in speeches, and to praise them and announce them. Another part is to announce the word of the day, and today will be drastically. So general it means a decision or decisively. And some example you can use it here is that enthusiasm has cooled drastically over the study of drumbeat of bad news coming from Washington, or a drug for people with high blood pressure can also drastically reduce the risk of a stroke. So let's find and use good phrases today and our word of the day drastically. And let's move drastically to our agenda. Thank you, Toastmasters.
Thank you, Elena. Okay, we're having a drastic change to our agenda because apparently I forgot to ask our R-counter to introduce her role as well. Anastasia Lukina is our R-counter for the day. So after Yelena's wonderful grammarian introduction, I'd just like to ask Anastasia to please also introduce the R-counter role and tell us all about it. Anastasia, over to you.
Thank you, Olga. Thank you very much. Today I'm going to be an R-counter. This means that I will count all the filler words and sounds that you would use during your speech. And you have to be very, very careful because despite of having very exciting topic, if you use a lot of these trash words, you can make your speech, the quality of the speech much worse. And in order to avoid these words, it's better to be prepared beforehand. So sorry, brain freeze. Sorry. I hope that you would use less of these words, and I hope you are more prepared than me today. Thank you, and back to you, Olga.
Thank you very much, Anastasia. All right, so let us all use the word of the day. Our grammarian, can you please post the word of the day for us in the chat box with the definition so that we can also see it and use it? And thank you, Madam R Counter. We will watch out as best we can. All right, with that, ladies and gentlemen, we'll be moving on to our second speaker for the day, who will be Rami Saeed. And his speech will be from the Engaging Humor Pathway, and it is the Evaluation and Feedback Speech 2. The purpose of this project is the presentation of a speech, the receipt of feedback on the speech, and then the presentation of either a new speech or the same speech that incorporates the feedback from the first speech. Now, when asking Rami for his favorite book, this was actually a very interesting one, because both Rami and Rami's speech evaluator, Anastasia Lukina, they somehow named the same book, Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Isn't that interesting? But Rami also had a second one, which was the 10 Times Rule by Grant Cardone. So interesting one here. But let's welcome Rami Saeed to the stage with his speech, 9 Tries to Land on Our Feet. 9 Tries to Land on Our Feet, Rami Saeed.
Imagine walking into the room and people looking at you, and they're all saying, wow, how did you do this? Look at you, you lost weight. Bravo. Some of your friends in a very good way would tell you, how amazing it is to hear such feedback from people. How amazing it is for you to feel that you have actually accomplished what your goals are and there are actually visible results. So this is the world's way of telling you that you have done it, that you are actually succeeding moving forward. So wouldn't you want to find out a way to always apply this in everything that you do? Whether it was in your gym, whether it was in your career, in your love life, in your travel, in everything, so that you get results. Toastmaster, follow Toastmasters and guests. I have figured out that there is a certain way to make things happen and happen clearly so people can notice. And unfortunately, before I used to have a different technique. I used to follow a system of gradual attaining of results, and which didn't work. And here's my story. Over 10 years, I don't know from where I got this message, Lion King, Hakuna Matata, which is essentially no worries. Take things easier. Do things very gradually, slowly. Don't rush, you know? When I'm working out, I always say, you know, it's better not to overwork myself. It's better to take things one step at a time. And for example, if last year I would run every day outside and I would, for example, run for 60 minutes. The next year, if I'm going to challenge myself, what would I do? Do 10%, 66 minutes. From this system, over 10 years, if you look at my before picture and my after picture, the only thing that's different, I have less hair. There is no progress in whatever I've achieved. So I've started asking and looking around, and people pointed me out that I need to see one Turkish guru. He's not actually a guru, he's actually a friend of mine from school who has results. This guy was tiny in school. We used to fight a lot. I used to hit him a lot in school, and he used to also fight with me. And one of the things that he has is actually, he has a feminine voice. But anyways, we'll keep that aside. I meet this guy and he's huge. He's a monster. He's like Hulk. He's so scary. I come in and I'm like, Qasim, is this you? And he sees me and he recognizes me and he tells me, very nice. Anyways, I tell him, listen, man, let me get the secret. Tell me, how did you accomplish it? So he tells me, big goals, strive, push, fail, repeat. So I took his advice and I started implementing immediately. So when I took my level, I took how much I can do, and I applied this in the gym first. So first I was doing this much of effort. I started doing that much, like 5 times how much I can do. And boy, to get from here to here, it's so hard. Imagine yourself, you can do push-ups. I want you to go now, not now, after the session, and try to do 10 push-ups. Try to do the max now. Make 10 times that or 5 times that and try to hit it there. You're gonna fail. It's gonna be embarrassing. You're gonna start attracting criticism from people. People are gonna tell you, why are you pushing so hard? Why are you failing? You look at yourself. Are you happy? But at the end, if you strive like a cat that always jumps from, whenever a cat jumps, it always lands on its feet. It has 9 soles. You'll always persist and move forward. And then you will see your results. Then people will look at you and be, wow, look at you. No pain, no gain. If you don't push, you're not gonna get results. This is not only applicable in the gym, this is applicable in everything that you do. You can take this and apply it to work. You can take it and apply it to your travel, to your money, family, whatever it is that you're passionate about. And get your... Back to you, Toastmaster.
All right. Thank you very much, Rami, for telling us about the trials and trepidations of achieving drastic results. I loved that clause that you had in there for push, strive, fail, repeat. I think that's something we can definitely apply pretty much to anything to reap successes. So thank you very much for that. Ladies and gentlemen, I would just like to take this moment to ask that you please send a message in the private chat to the speakers with a bit of feedback, recommendations, and something that you thought was fantastic about their speech as well. So please do that in the private chat box. All right. Our third and final speaker for today is Ramanpreet Kaur Bhatia with a project from the Persuasive Influence Pathway. This project is the High Performance Leadership Project Part 1, and the purpose of this project is for her to apply her leadership and planning knowledge to develop a project plan, organize a guidance committee, and implement the plan with the help of a team. During this first speech, Ramanpreet will introduce her plan and vision, and the speech can be of any style, which should contain a well thought out plan. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Ramanpreet to the stage with the speech, My Outlook, Ramanpreet Kaur Bhatia.
Thank you. I would just like to confirm the timer is Walter, right? Okay.
That is correct. Could you see the greens and yellows so far?
I can see that. I just wanted to confirm. So that's why I pinned you. Thank you. The beginning is the most important part of the work. Your talent determines what you can do. Your motivation determines how much you are willing to do. But it's your attitude which determines how well you do it. These are some golden words by Lou Holtz. Dear Club President, Toastmaster of the Day, fellow Toastmasters, a very warm and hearty good evening or good afternoon to all of you. It's so hard to believe that during a normal course and routine in life, we actually miss lots of opportunities and ways to fulfill our passions and learning avenues, which are actually different from our means of living or our professions. I am Ramanpreet Kaur Bhatia, a chartered accountant by profession, but an enthusiastic Toastmaster by passion. I feel that offering your time and expertise as a leader in a volunteer organization makes you even more responsible, as this position is by your own will. I am President, Marine Parade Toastmasters Club, Singapore. The word president is meaningless But the term president of a club gives it a meaning. A club, which is an association of persons. This experience has made me realize that a challenge of leading in a volunteer organization is understanding that the people you lead follow because they chose to follow you. At the annual general meeting of our club in June, when I was nominated as the club president, I was asked, what would be my mission, my vision for my club? I remain in Toastmasters because I have an obligation to give to others what was given to me. I now have the responsibility to give back the members of my club that mentoring, that learning, and that opportunity which was given to me. My goal for the term for my club is to encourage members to attend meetings regularly, to encourage mentors to work with members diligently, to celebrate educational accomplishments at meetings, to provide an open avenue for members' suggestions and inputs. I plan to do a speechcraft program for my club. I want to help in organizing more learning sessions for our club. How? Do I have a plan? Yes, me and my exco have already made a blueprint of our schedule for this year. As regards our mentoring plan, we have formed a committee of our two able Vice President Education and our immediate past president. And we have come up with a beautiful and innovative concept of speed dating coaching clinic. I have formed separate groups of our experienced and seasoned members as mentors and already assigned mentees to them. As regards our learning session, I planned to include as many learning sessions as possible. And for this plan, my committee, again comprising of my two able Vice President Education and one of our senior members, wishes to involve a mix of seasoned Toastmasters and speakers, as well as giving a chance to our regular members who will be conducting these sessions for the first time. I believe that when you teach, you learn. As president, I have discussed these plans with my excos, received inputs on all these plans. Some suggestions are good and acceptable. But yes, in my plans, I have been facing some apprehensions and some opposition, as well as for my speechcraft plan as well. But we are moving ahead. All this process has reaffirmed my wisdom that the path to managing a successful project begins with enthusiasm, knowledge, because as captain of the ship, as president of my club, I have taken the responsibility for accomplishment of an idea, plan, assignment, and guiding my team through each task while working to meet deadlines. I'm working through it now. As president of my club, I recognize my strengths. I'm trying to develop rapport with my exco members as well as my club members, cultivating appropriate relationships with my team. I have already planned to delegate tasks and manage resources well. Because I know striking a balance between a friend and an authority figure can be a challenge when serving as the leader, especially in a volunteer organization. But whatever the mind of a man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. I would just conclude with another golden words by Joy Gomes. which says, operations keep the light on. Strategy provides the light at the end of the tunnel. But project management is the train engine that moves the organization forward. Thank you. Over to you, Toastmaster of the Day.
All right. Thank you very much, Ramanpreet, for that very inspiring speech. I feel like you've given us so many nuggets of leadership wisdom, such as the beginning is the most important part of the work. Attitude determines how well you do what you do, and all the things that you've told us about the programs that you're running within your club, such as Speechcraft, mentorship program. I love that speed dating coaching clinic. So thank you very much. This was really a really great talk. With this, ladies and gentlemen, we are done with our prepared speeches section. And again, please do send feedback directly to our speakers within the private chat, something that you enjoyed and some recommendations for improvement as well, just small messages through. All right. This takes us to our first report for the speeches. Walter, would you let us know how our speakers with regards to time, please?
Yes, Madam Toastmaster Olga, thank you very much for this invitation. I'll deliver the timings right now. Anna has finished with 6 minutes 03. Rami has finished with 4:57. And Ramanpreet unfortunately made it 7 minutes and 40. Minus the time for asking for if I would be the timer. I've already subtracted that as well, so it would be somewhere 7:20-ish, 7:10, which means unfortunately you cannot be considered for the vote.
All right, thank you very much, Walter. With that, I think there should be a voting poll for best speaker that should be coming up shortly. So please take the time to vote. Vote for the best speaker, and also again, if you haven't provided comments for the speakers, please do so. And also, I've seen that some of you have posted your favorite books in the chat box. Please keep on doing so. I'm compiling a list as we're going along that I will make available at the end of the meeting, so it's not for nothing. So keep posting if you haven't done so already, and even if you have, still do so. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this takes us to a very exciting section of the meeting, which is the table topics session. Now, I'm not going to tell you any more about that. I will let our table topics master brief you about what is going to happen here. Alexander Kim will be our table topics master, but before I hand over to him, I'll let you know what his favorite book was that he sent through, and it was Shantaram by Gregory David Roberts. So adding that to the list as well. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Alexander Kim to the stage for the table topics session. Alexander, over to you.
Thank you, Olga, very much. So in Toastmasters, we also want our members to develop our communication skills by answering unprepared questions, practicing thinking on a feet. So we do this with the table topics. Basically, I will be asking you a question, a completely random question that has to do with the theme of our meeting. Your job is to answer this question within a limit of 1 to 2:30 minutes or 2 minutes 30 seconds to be qualified for our best award nomination. What else? Oh, timer is Walter. You will see green light at 1 minute, yellow at 1:30, and red at 2. That's basically it. What I expect you to do is to put your name in a chat, and we'll start as soon as possible. Randall says Your Name, which is a great movie, by the way. So Randall will be our first contestant. Randall, your question is... Oops, Irina? Randall. Which book world would you like to live in? Randall, time is yours. Let's see.
Which book world would I like to live in? I think I understand that question to mean which sort of era or setting would I like to live in that is depicted in a book. I can tell you the era and setting I would not like to live in. One of the most interesting books that I ever read was Clockwork Orange. I don't know if anyone has read that book by Anthony Burgess. Anthony Burgess blew my mind because he was a polyglot and he could speak at least, I think, a dozen languages, and he could use them with very, very fine detail, including the English language in his book. So Clockwork Orange had a mix of English, French, German, Russian, all mixed up together. And it was depicting an era or time in the future, which was very, very dystopian and very disturbing and very violent. And so, Alexander, I would not like to live in his world. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Randall. So you confirm you would be okay with living in a Game of Thrones universe, being threatened to kill it every day? I take your answer as a yes.
In a warm part within Game of Thrones, not up in the chilly north.
Oh, yeah, I see. Okay, so you live in the north right now. Second speaker, I guess Irina. Yeah, Irina just joined us.
Yeah, hi everyone.
Irina, we missed you. Irina, this question has to be asked. You know, a lot of fighting are there currently over this topic.
Sure.
Should we judge a book by its cover or should we not?
Okay, can you everybody hear me okay? Yes, great, fantastic. Hi everyone, sorry, I'm going to hog a little bit of my time by saying how much I missed you too, guys. I'm finally free. I am now in Cardiff, finishing my self-isolation so that I can, start traveling a little bit on Monday. And the reason I'm an hour late is that I've just finished Total Dictation. Do you guys know what it is? Total Dictation this year. It was postponed till October. And we've just finished. It starts the same time as our meeting. So the question is, should a book be judged by its cover? You know, with modern printing possibilities, I think it can. And for some people, this is exactly the way how they choose their next book. I have a lot of students who shared this way of picking their next book with me during our English lessons. They said that the choice nowadays is enormous. It's so easy to be lost in the assortment of books we are now snowed under. So for some people, this is the way. They just come to the bookstore, they pick a book they like, judging by their cover, and they just read it. Sometimes it's a great choice, sometimes it's not, but this is the way it works for them. Another thing that I can add to this, you can judge the book by its cover, but not by the front cover, but by the back cover, where you have the reviews of people and the short gist of the book, which is also a way. Why not? That's all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Irina, for a wonderful question. Answer as well. I see Michael wrote his name privately. So Michael, your question is, if your life was a book, what genre would it be?
One more time, please.
If your life was a book, what genre would it be?
If my life was a book, it would be called Drastically Me. I think that if there was a book about me, it would probably not be a bestseller, but it sure would be spicy. Sometimes ago, people have asked me to run for politics because I like to speak, and I told them no, because I got too many skeletons in my closet, thank you, and I don't need all those skeletons out of my closet. So if someone was going to write a book about me after I'm gone, because I certainly wouldn't tell them live, tell them the truth myself, no, they'd have to write after I was gone. And if they wrote about me, it would be very spicy, very intriguing. I have worked around the world in many countries. I've been in war twice, been married and divorced twice. I have a very, very diverse background. You could say that if the title was going to be Drastically Me, it might gather a little bit of attention. It might be a title that someone might want to read, but I don't know. I know that I would be gone and I wouldn't have to read it. Mr. Table Topics Master, back to you.
Thank you, Michael. I always thought, being a politician is actually a good way to keep your skeletons in a closet. Apparently not. Yeah, I thought this is the way. All right, Rami is next. Rami, please describe a moment in a book that made you cry.
A moment in a book that made me cry. I cry every day. It's like every moment there is, but what makes me cry the most is when I see a character that I relate to go away. Like usually a person who's, let's say, caring and someone who wants to see results. And this guy is actually fighting and fighting and moving forward. And then for some reason in the book, they kill the guy off. And it just breaks my heart. I mean, from the moment I can feel it. I can feel it with the music, with the suspense, it going and the guy disappearing. And and I start, my heart pounds and I start feeling that, okay, this guy is gonna go away. Sometimes even when they kill that guy off, I stop reading. But I always try to finish whatever that I start, because it's very, you have to be able to control yourself and not to take such drastic measures, you see. And this way, you'll have to win. Thank you.
Thank you, Rami. I like that you are very emotional. You're very humorous. You cry every day. Yeah, that's a fun person to be with, I guess. Anna Soldatova is our next contestant. Oops. All right, Anna, your question is, what's the biggest plot twist you've read in a book?
Oh, it's a very difficult question. What's the biggest plot twist you've read in a book? Maybe I'm not sure the twist plot, but last summer I've read the book of Huxley, The Brave New World, and being a big fan of anti-utopia books, I was amazed with this plot and with the structure of this Brave New World. It was outstanding, strange, and the most that I like that it was so logical and so well structured, I think. And one more thing after that, this spring I've watched the new TV series about British TV series according to this book, and here was plot twist between in comparison with the book, and it was interesting, and I guess it was kind of drastical twist in comparison with the book, but actually I like it very much, and I can give advice to see this TV series. It's really worth your time, I get. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anna. I actually, once I posted this question, I actually regretted it because I thought we will hear some spoilers and it will be no fun to read, but you managed to keep things interesting with the brand new world book. Okay, I see Anastasia Lukina wants to participate. Anastasia, who is your all-time favorite book character? Very easy question.
Thank you, Alexander. I have to think about it. My favorite book character. I think it was Peppy. I think her name was Peppy Longsocks. In Russian, it sounds Peppy Длинный Чулок. I don't know if you read about her, but I've read that book when I was a kid, and I was very impressed by her adventures. She was a small kid, but she lived alone, and she was totally independent of adults. And that's what I wanted in my life when I was a teenage girl. I was I needed total independence. I thought that it would be so cool to live alone as Peppy. And she had a lot of troubles because I remember that some bad people wanted to kidnap her even, and she managed to escape, and everything was very funny. And when I think about it now, it was very creepy that someone tried to kidnap her, but the book was written in a very funny manner that was like a game. So that character was very impressive to me when I was a kid, and that's why I remember her as my favorite character from my childhood. Thank you.
Thank you, Anastasia. I can say you're into more like childish / adult books, like with The Little Prince, with the Peppa book. And first I thought it's Peppa the Pig, so I thought I knew the character, but then no, I guess not. All right, so I've got a couple of thousand more questions, guys. Come on. We've got some time, I believe. Yeah. Walter nods. Does that mean he agrees to participate? Yeah, he says. All right, Walter.
Trying to find the chat with my windows open, so just give it a go. And I need to time myself, so let's see how that works.
All right. Now, a more specific question for you, Walter. Who is your favorite book villain?
Oh dear. Okay, hold on. Let's start the time. All right. Who's my favorite book villain? Who is my favorite? I really need to think about it because in the past I've read a lot of books in terms of time management, personal development, and so forth. There are not so many villains as the social environment, the government, the system, which keeps you driving towards your way, which at the end of the day turns out horrific because every personal development book will point the finger up to yourself by following the rules, by following your daily habits, by not improving or overseeing or the crowd you hang out with. So probably my conclusion of who is the biggest villain would be yourself, in a sense. Thank you very much. And that was yellow.
That's the right answer. You know, with the time management skills, you understand that you are your worst enemy. That's it. You are the only one. You are your best friend, best enemy. You are everything, basically.
Walter, 61 seconds.
new world record, Walter. Okay, do we have time for a couple of thousand more participants?
One more, please.
One more. Elena, Ramanpreet, you have such a lovely voice. Everybody would be so delighted to hear it again. Yeah.
Whom did you mean? Whose voice did you mean?
Yours, exactly.
I hope that's mine. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, so the question is, what is the longest book you have ever read? Or it took you the longest?
Oh, it's a nice question, actually. Actually, I have two answers to this question. The longest book I read is The Peace and War. You can understand why. So the second answer is a specific book about how to say no how strategy of saying no can help you in some life circumstances. So I don't know why, but it took me around maybe 3 weeks to read it. I keep postpone some parts and keep going back to some parts and read again and repeat and thinking about phrases from this book and try to find different meaning of some phrases, and it was very interesting. And I'll leave this book to read again, maybe in half of a year, because it might appear something new, occur something new. It can bring me new ideas if I read it again. So that's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Elena. 3 weeks. Yeah, I thought you would say like 3 months or something, because it takes months for me to read a book, and I'm like, yeah, it's fine, it's okay. And when I hear it takes 3 weeks and it's the longest, I'm like kind of embarrassed. All right, Walter, could you give your timer report to see who is qualified, can be qualified rather?
Yes, sure, Mr. Table Topic Master Alexander Kim, with pleasure. We have number 1, Randall, with 1 minute 02. We have Irina with 1:47. We have Michael with 1 minute 09. We have Rami with 1:15. Anna Soldatova 1:51. Nastya Lukina with 1:36. Walter with 1:01, as I've heard from Michael. I pointed myself with 1:03. And Yelena with 1 minute and 37. Herewith everyone is qualified. Thanks, back to you.
Thank you for telling all my favorite numbers, Walter. I guess everybody is qualified. Now we'll see the link for the vote for our best table topic speaker in a moment. And now I'd like to pass the stage back to our Toastmaster, Olga, back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Alexander Kim, for expertly running that table topic session, for providing us with some food for thought around books. Thank you everyone who participated. Those are some fantastic answers, some unexpected ones too. And with that, there's the link in the chat box for you to vote for your favorite table topics talk of today. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that moves us past our second part in the agenda, which was the table topics, and it takes us into the third and final part of the meeting, which is the evaluations section. And firstly, we will have the speech evaluations, followed by our reports from our archant and grammarian, and then we will get a general evaluation from Michael. All right. So with that, I would like to call Michael Wader to the stage to evaluate Anna Soldatova's speech. And when I asked Michael what his favorite book was, he said it was See You at the Top by Zig Ziglar. So with that, please join me in welcoming Michael Wader to the stage to provide an evaluation for Anna Soldatova's speech. Michael, over to you.
Very good. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Anna, super job today. I was very happy to hear you talked about my home. And by home, I mean this is where I'm currently living. So this is my neighborhood also. So you told me something about my neighborhood I didn't know. A lot of things about it I didn't know. As your presentation went, when you first got started, you had your eyes glued to the ceiling and you were up there for about 10 seconds. I don't know why you went to the ceiling, but you did. Other than that, you did pretty good with your eye contact. Looking at the screen, often reading because there was some technical data. You wanted to get the dates right and the information correct. You want to make sure you had all your research correct. You kept looking down your notes, but you did look up at the screen as you were presenting it. So you're looking at reading and presenting it with your eyes, went back and forth. Not bad at all. With a lot of practice, you'll be able to remember more of it, and you're going to be able to just give it with your eyes without looking down. I thought your format that you chose to use is what I call the history structure. When you want to tell about a topic, sometimes we use space, sometimes we use cause and effect, and one of the ways is history, and you chose history. You started with the history back in the 1800s, and you moved us forward a little by little by little to the current time. This is a very, very good model for other people to think about when they're presenting research information or research presentations. It helps because you have a timeline and the dates are verifiable. In your speech, you were supposed to use facts and data. You did that. So obviously you did your homework on those things. And I thought that your style of speaking was good, but I think that you were a little bit of a monotone. I would have liked to see a little bit more impact, although this is not an impactful type of speech being researched, but I would have liked to see a little more impact, a little bit more exaggeration or voice change in order to carry our attention, to keep our attention, so it wasn't just monotone. I think you could have done that. You were in the center of your screen. The lighting was not bad. You do have a little bit of shadow in your face, but overall it's good. We could see your face, we could see your eyes, and we heard a clear presentation. I think that this is a growth thing for you. I think you're getting more comfortable as you go along. And I think that you're going to be doing fine because you had chose to map out your speech and give data. I would highly recommend the next speech you give, even though it's not about facts and data, that you think about using the same type of format. It seems to work for you very well. Madam Evaluator, back to you. Well, excuse me, Madam Toastmaster, back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Michael, for providing feedback for Anna's speech. The great thing about evaluations is that we all get a chance to benefit from everything that we hear for our speakers. We can apply that to all the future talks that we have as well. So thank you, Michael, for kicking us off with the evaluations. Our second evaluator will be Anastasia Lukina, who will be evaluating Rami's speech. Please help me welcome Anastasia to the stage.
Thank you, Olga. Rami, that was a great speech. I personally enjoyed it a lot, and I saw that you were very prepared today, and you were very confident. Also, I would like to note how your eyes were glued to the camera. So it was, I had a feeling that you looked inside of my soul. So it was great, actually. And also, you are very emotional. Also, you used different tones of voices when you were telling about your dialogue with your friend. Also, I would like to note that you chose a great topic that is very useful and very inspiring. Only thing that I would like to add is that you could experiment with another styles of giving a speech, like another styles of storytelling, because I saw that this time you used a very you hooked us from the beginning. That was great. And I would like to just recommend you to use another style of storytelling in the next time. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. Back to you.
All right, thank you so much, Anastasia, for the nuggets of wisdom in the evaluation. All right, our third and final speech evaluator will be Walter, who will be evaluating Ramanpreet's speech. Walter, over to you.
Thank you very much, Olga. I'm going to hit the start button right now. And thank you very much for introducing me to evaluate Ramanpreet. Dear Ramanpreet, I have to say thank you very much for this enlightenment of a speech, which I would consider as absolutely accomplished with what your goal was. And now I'm going to explain you why this is the case. Your goal for this evaluation, for this speech title or for this speech type was to introduce your plan and your vision. Not only did we see and hear it loud and clear what you had to say, you structured your speech in a brilliant way. I think everyone was able to follow as good as I could. You described your motivation of being a president and guiding throughout your role in a very entertaining and professional way that one could hear your voice crystal clear. You stood up, which gave you a lot of energy to bring your message across to everyone who's sitting in his room, hiding a little bit and thinking no one can see me. So you totally reached me through the medium of a PC, which is very, very great. For me personally, though, I can say that sometimes your pauses were a little bit too long, and I was not sure if the screen did stuck or if this is meant to be, but this can be definitely also a subjective issue. I have to say that your goal was fully reached, and also to say that you accomplished your goal, especially or in particular with me being your #1 priority audience of being a president as well. You made me think of what my goal and my vision is by listening to your personal story. Thank you very much. You've done a very good job.
All right. Thank you so much, Walter. And I'd like to just point out with the last evaluation, I absolutely loved how, Walter, you were delivering your evaluation with emphasis on, I feel that this is so, or this is subjective. So you provided feedback in a way that the speaker doesn't feel like, well, that's the way that came across to me. I hope it came across to Ramanpreet as well in the same way, but that the speaker is not being bashed with suggestions, but rather receiving them gently as recommendations. And that is something that we always aim for with evaluations. And that was fantastic. So thank you very much, Walter. And I'm actually going to hand over right back to you for the evaluation times. So would you please let us know how our evaluators did?
Guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, you were frozen. You were frozen.
Okay. I saw nothing move, so I'm back in the game. All right, I can hear you as well now.
All right, it's
Froze
freezing
again.
a little bit. Okay.
Do we know if all three?
Yeah, we had this problem the other day when we were online with him.
Okay, shall we request,
Now you're live again.
shall we move on with...
He's live again. He's live again now.
My internet now trying to do something? Yes, you're moving now and smiling, so probably something wrong with my screen. That's how I interpret it. Dear Olga, you probably might have asked a question. That's why everyone's smiling at me.
Yes,
timers.
Just the times for the evaluations, please.
Of
Yes.
course. Let's make it a quick one. We have Michael with 2:40. We have Anastasia with 1:27, and we have Walter, as I typed myself, with 1:57.
Okay.
Right, wonderful. Thank you very much, Walter. With that, we'll be waiting for a voting poll to vote for best evaluator. And in the meantime, we'll be going to our grammarian's report, which will be delivered by Yelena Belaeva. So Yelena, take it away and tell us how we did for our grammar. Over to you.
Thank you. Actually, I missed a little bit of Anna's speech. Sorry for that. I couldn't hear it properly, but I catch some few nice points, and I would add it to my list also. Let's start from Anna's speech, and I could praise her for this nice phrase like Symphony of Stones and Marble. It was really nice and poetrical a little bit and warm our hearts. About Rami's speech, I add some phrases like no pain, no gain to remember my previous speech, so it's like spoke to me. I would also add some points about he repeated a few times, you know, it's kind of American style a little bit. Point, I think you could manage it a little bit better to try to avoid this kind of also one more point was the small mistake, like instead of have met, you said have me. And I like your get your whistle. It was nice. About Ramanpreet speech, I would notice some phrase like golden words, blueprint. And I love this thing as I believe when you teach, you learn. It was amazing. I totally can, it totally speaks to me also. And as well, operation keeps the light on. And always our phrase king is Michael, and he gave us always different kind of phrases and spicy words. For example, Somewhere Over the Rainbow. Do you remember this famous song from Wizard of Oz? And these kind of things like skeletons on closet, also different, many different places as well. And from Randall, I catch nice blew my mind. Also from Walter, I would add finger up to yourself and nice word like enlightenment. Also very tasty word to use. And one more thing is I would add that sometimes it's difficult to translate some names or books from Russian to English, and I would and you need to remember these kind of things. And in this case, I would praise Anastasia that she could translate this point about Becky long socks. It's also very important in our speech. And one more thing I wanted to add is that it seems the word of the day is kind of nice to use, so we use it around 6 times already, and it seems it's kind of comfortable for you, and I hope you will use it in your speeches and so on. Thank you, Toastmasters. Back to you.
All right, thank you very much, Elena, for your astute observations and pointing out great uses of words that we can apply in future speeches and in our daily lives. All right, so that was one aspect of the evaluation. The next one will be our fellow words from our R-counter, Anastasia Lukina. Please help me welcome Anastasia to the stage.
Thank you, Olga. Guys, unfortunately, I have only 4% on my battery and I didn't take my charger. So don't be surprised if I just turn off. I will be very short. Today, we have 96 filler words and sounds. I think that is not bad, but for the next meeting, I personally will be more prepared and I will try to use less filler words. And also to my fellow Toastmasters, I would like to ask you to be more prepared. This way we will avoid these trash words. We use a lot of airs and also we used a lot of this word, this sound I heard a lot of times. Also, we used, as Yelena told, and please be careful with that word, with that phrase as well. And overall, I think it's not a bad result for today. Thank you. Back to you, Olga.
All right, thank you very much, Anastasia. Those filler words are always such a challenge because the moment we think of something else or don't know what to say, they just pop in as the natural substitute for whatever useful thing we might have said next. So thank you for looking out for that. It's very important for us to focus on that. Thank you very much. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we jump into the general evaluation from Michael Wader, we will actually be having a quiz session, as you all who've been in these meetings before will know. And our quiz master for the day is Rami. Rami, take it away with your quiz master session.
Oh, thank you, Toastmaster. As a quiz master, my role is to ask questions about what was discussed today. This is a great opportunity for you all to participate and to test your listening skills. So what I want is I will say, and I will ask a question, and I want you to write in the chat box the answers for each. So in Anna Saldatova's speech, where do most of Toastmasters live? In what district? Bravo, Alexander. So it's Moskovsky district. And what park was opened at the end of the war? Bravo. So we have Walter, Park Pabedi. Okay. In my speech, what's the best way to find results?
To find results.
I'm not sure I understood the question.
What are the best way to actually see results? Okay, next question. So what's the name?
There are some answers though.
Where? I didn't see. Yeah, set higher than desired. Michael, yes, correct. In Ramanpreet's representation, what's the name of the clinic that she had set up? The training clinic. Speed dating coaching. Anyways, next. What does Michael have in his closet? Good, Alexander. Yes. What is the name of the character for Anastasia Lukina? Correct, Pepe. What kind of TV show do ducks like to watch? Documentaries, Alexander. In Walter's session, what does every self-help book point as the worst villain? True, Irina.
Myself, not yourself.
Mm-hmm. Elena Belova, in her, what book did she read? What was it about? What kind of book? Yes, Anna Soldatova. Yes. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster.
All right. Thank you so much, Rami. I absolutely love this part of the St. Petersburg Toastmasters meetings because I feel like having a quizmaster in the meeting really makes everyone listen and tune in and think back to what has happened. And this happening at the end of the meeting is just fantastic because it gives a great summary of what has been happening. So thank you for that, Rami. And with that, this takes us to the final evaluation, which is the general evaluation that will be delivered by Michael Wader. Please help me welcome Michael to the stage to evaluate the meeting.
Thank you very much, Madam Toastmaster. I was not scheduled to be the general evaluator, but one of the things that we do in this small club is that when we are short a person or a duty, we step up, and as Walter was today, he was not meant to be the timer, but he stepped in and did that. So we all have to pitch in. And as part of my evaluation, I'd like to say that I think the club does a good job covering all those bases. Small club, people willing to take things on and do well. We started today about 13 minutes late. And I think with better planning and organization, we could get closer to starting on time. Sometimes we're within a few minutes waiting on somebody, just a couple minutes. Today we were 13 minutes late. I think that's more than we should allow. We should try to get better at that. I thought the introduction at the beginning was good. I really liked the fact that our joke master, Mr. Randall, did his homework. Your jokes were not only good, they were great. They made everybody on the screen smile and laugh. If you were watching them instead of reading what you were reading, you would have saw that everybody was laughing. Good job, Walter Randall. I think you did a super job on Joke Master, and I know that's not an easy thing to do, so thank you very much. I thought that our duties were explained well, and I particularly liked when I heard what Alexander had to say. Each person who has a duty has to explain them. And I thought Alexander took the time to explain about table topics, why they're important, how they're going to function, how it's going to run. And often we don't do that in table topics. We run right into them without taking the time to explaining them. I think it's very good to go through that exercise of explaining them. Also, by explaining them, it gives him time to speak. And that is what Toastmasters is all about. Every week, every member should get time to speak and present something. In this case, he was presenting the information about table topics. We heard three very, very different stories today by three different speakers. They were quite diverse. I thought our evaluators did a good job. You might want to think about in your evaluation, talking a little bit more about what you saw. I know often our evaluators say, we heard this and we heard that. I think that as an evaluator, you can make it a little bit more personal by saying, I heard this or I saw that, because you are the single person doing the evaluation instead of the group doing an evaluation. So I think you need to bring that in a little bit more personal to be something that you saw. So say, I saw it or I recommend. I think that will help. I thought Olga did a good job of organizing the overall meeting. She kept control of everything. There was no loss. Walter jumped back in after the break, asked me to be quiet so we could get going. It all went well. And we're going to finish on time, which is another good thing. So even though we started late, we got everything inside. We got grammarian's report. We got a little bit of Akana report. I think all the basic elements were there. We just need to practice a little bit more to become a better club. So when we do have guests, we can impress them with our abilities. And I think we can do it as a club. We're only about 12 members. We get about 9 here today. So with what the people we have, I think we're doing a good job. I would not say anything negative about it, because I don't think when a few people put a lot of effort into something, you should say anything negative about it. Those few people are putting their heart and soul into it, trying to make it go. And that is a lot of credit they should receive. So overall, I think it was well. Next time, start a little bit earlier. Giving evaluations, think about your own opinion and not we. Those are my two main comments. Madam Toastmaster, back to you.
Thank you very much, Michael. I love the general evaluation session because I feel it helps everybody and the club as a whole. It something that we don't do at UCT Toastmasters, and I feel we definitely should, but we also struggle with that small membership issues. So oftentimes we prioritize speeches as well, but the general evaluation really is a great thing. So thank you very much for your insights. Ladies and gentlemen, this brings us to the end of our agenda for today and the end of my role as Toastmaster. But before I leave you, I have posted a document in the chat box, which has a collection of all the books that either you've sent in the chat box or that were mentioned in the meeting today. So that's just another way which I feel is a useful way to expand your reading list in case there's something on that list that you haven't read. But other than that, thank you for being a great audience, and thank you to all the role players. Mr. Club President Walter, I will now hand over to you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Olga. I'm not sure if you can hear me because my sign says my internet is very weak, but I think that's okay. Irina Nosova, you've just written in the chat, I don't see it. I've received the PDF. I can see it. I don't know if you referred to that. Just to clarify the techniques, we got it right. So it is already there. Before we finish off, we have, I think, one session left, which is the presentation of the awards. The best evaluation award for today is going to be Michael. Congratulations, Mr. Waiter. You've done a great job for evaluating the evaluator's roles and the theme for today. We move on for the Table Topics Award of the best little impromptu speeches. Goes to, music please, Anastasia and Michael. That is very good. So the only thing you have to do, guys, is to find out where you meet in St. Petersburg or in Irkutsk to get this little document. Congratulations to both of you. We move on to Best Speaker Award for today is going to Rami Saeed. Congratulations, Ramid. It's been a pleasure listening to you and always looking into your 2- or 3-dimensional perspective. I still can't figure out how you do that technically. Well done on that. It still works and looks great, especially when we have the ankle from below. I remember there's one, I think it was the Time, the paper, the Times paper, where there was Putin and he's sitting there being shot from below. It makes you appear very, very mighty and powerful. Very much appreciate that. On that note, thank you very much, everyone, for attending our 125th meeting in St. Petersburg, which is still an online meeting. I highly appreciate your attendance, although there was a time where we've been, I think, around 30-something people. From my perspective, my personal, I think that is still every one of us trying to going outside, but then still going to the corners, to the home offices, sorting out his drinks and daily work. So I think we share this experience we go through at each and every location, wherever we are. So I highly appreciate you participating as well, and keep on doing so. I want to say thank you very much to our guests. Thank you very much for Ramanpreet for being here. I think the first time, I do not remember seeing you somewhere. I think that I've got that. Best regards to Singapore as always. We love to have guests from there. We have a couple of those, which is always nice to see how your level is very, very high. And that is definitely an enrichment also for our club. So yes, thank you very much. And definitely stay tuned. What else would I say? Almost nothing apart from the gates for the roles for the next meeting are open right now. And you can now raise your hand or just tell me by unmuting which role you are going to have for the next meeting. which is going to be an online meeting. Yes, still, I'm afraid, on the, if I'm not mistaken, the 31st of October at 2 o'clock.
Walter.